What is up, everybody? Keith James, go back to the guy 231 across the Sorare industry. Alex, Tilt City fame. You ready to grind?
Yeah, let's do it. I don't have any coffee in front of me. Sad day, but we can grind nonetheless. Yeah, see?
Hold on. You told me you were eating breakfast. Please tell me that breakfast includes coffee with it. Or are you
Not today.
What?
Not today, it didn't. Nope.
Are you not an addict?
I didn't want to run the coffee grinder because my wife is still in bed. I'm just trying to be considerate, even though I think she'd rather just have the coffee.
Yeah, I mean that's a weird consideration debate for husbands across the starter industry. At 7:30 in the morning.
It affects all of us.
I've got the weirdest setup. I didn't even decided to edit, but you got the K-cup, you got the Santa, the banana. We're ready. The kids watching the Grinch because I guess it's already Christmas in this household.
Wow, that's early. We're early on the Grinch.
Whatever keeps them quiet. You're trying to do this is the honest answer. All right, let's get on topic. First off,
okay.
We missed the grind last week. Me and you kind of were all over the place. I was fortunate to go on Quinny's pod and chill with him, Laird and Nellis right before the first limited launch. And then we were both opened up the sorareMB show for Sorare Data last week. So sorry that we missed, but we were busy. You can find our stuff all out there. Alex, before we get into NBA, because I have a feeling that is going to be a majority of our topic today, I have to ask you, how were your Summer NBA airdrops from your MLB success?
Boy, what a nightmare.
The floor is yours.
First of all, we were all, I don't know how to preface this, because, I'm not a guy who wants handouts. I'm not a guy who expects handouts. I'm not one to normally get upset about, looking a gift horse in the mouth, as it were. But when Sorare teased, if you play NBA or if you play MLB, you're going to get a little help in NBA. Just play the playoff contest and you're going to get a little help. And then they announced that it's going to be common NBA cards, which makes sense, seeing as they were considering, play MLB common playoffs and you get cards or you get a reward. But it's not what I was expecting. It's too early. I'm not grinding well enough. I was disappointed by that being their surprise for everyone. I wish they just wouldn't even have announced it. I wish they would have just said, thank you afterwards. So I know that's not what you asked. My initial comments were absolute garbage. They said a tier 2 and a tier 3, and I'll be damned if Aaron Wiggins or I don't even remember the other guy, dude who has been hurt for Portland this entire time. I don't think either of them were even a tier 3. So then I know they sent out additional cards, and I got Jaylen Brown and Cameron Payne. So everyone got 4 on account of, I don't know if it was a mistake, but someone got a Jokic and a Doncic. Something was wrong, and they ended up giving us 2 more cards. And Jaylen Brown and Cam Payne are just fine. They are commons that will get run in my gallery. That's fine. But kind of underwhelming overall. I'm pretty disappointed with how things have ended in MLB. Just for the season, I don't expect them to keep the auction market just flowing because no one's buying cards, and prices are already dipping as it is. But I also don't care for the full series game week. I have lost so much momentum. I'm barely keeping up just with the Sorare side of MLB of the World Series. So, yeah, I think we learned some lessons here. I think the one that really matters, though, is and it might just be me, but the full series game week is not fun for me at all.
Yeah, I mean, I stopped playing really for the playoffs. Just didn't like have any gallery for it. Wasn't buying just for it. But on the series note, then I'll give my quick thoughts on the drop. What else would they do?
I mean, I don't know. I want to say just do it like normal, but then you run into the issue of, when the series turns around, once you get past game 4, you don't know how many games there's actually going to be. So that ends up being the difficult part. Yeah, I don't know that I blame them for that. I don't think it was necessarily the wrong decision. Yeah, I don't think it was a wrong decision. It's just not great. It's not the best experience possible.
I mean, I think that's just kind of the nature of a one gamer. There's only so many lineups that you could possibly make anyway. It's kind of just, I hate to like squash that one, but it's kind of like, okay, what else? But all right, I'm going to jump onto your side, the airdrop. I felt the airdrop when it happened was tone deaf. I think it's the best way I can say it, because you've got a smaller like MLB community. From what I can gather from like our Sorare Discord and what I can see on Twitter, smaller community, very pumped about baseball, very bullish on the product. So, you reward them a different product. I thought it was like first bit. It's like you're like, oh, thanks for being so loyal to MLB. Why don't you come spend some more money in NBA? So that was one part that I was just like, so at the end, then like, I just think any sort of devoidness of anything baseball related was a big mistake. It's like play Sorare MLB and improve your NBA teams. Whoa. I play Sorare MLB because I like MLB.
Right.
So I just thought it was like presumptive, tone deaf. And then on top of it, to just see from a just hysterical standpoint, to see people like, I think somebody posted the airdrop of, like you said, I think what was it, like Jokic and like Durant, and then you're a diehard NBA guy like me, and you literally get one guy neither one of us have heard of.
Right.
One guy who like is like okay and a role player, but it's kind of like, how is there such a disparity?
Yeah, it was weird.
Was there any QC? Like, how if you're saying that you're going to do tier 2 and tier 3, the top 3 player on the platform, how does he sneak in?
Yeah, it was weird. It was unfortunate. But
it was a bad look. It was just overall just a bad look. It was just like, to your point. If it then it probably would have been better.
Right. I think if they just didn't announce it up front and would have just been like, hey, thanks for your loyalty, thanks for your support in our, what was really a beta launch of baseball, and here, this is what we're doing for you. Not like, hey, guess what's coming? And it was just like, here.
I feel like Nellis has said this before, but I think it would have been better. Like, to me, like, it's impossible considering they have the team licenses that they and the graphics feel that they have, that they can't like design like team banners. And it's like, hey, you played all playoffs, you played all season, choose your favorite team's banner. That would have been more well received.
Yeah, I'd have been cool with that.
You can do this because you played. We're going to be releasing it for the general public at the beginning of next season with their XP points, but you get early. I think like the Sorare MLB community would have been like, oh, freaking yes.
Yeah.
Early adopter status.
Yes. Yeah. Anything like that would have been cool with me. Like anything that signifies like we were here on the ground floor, whatever. But yeah, again, like I don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth. I'm grateful for the extra commons. They will get used, and maybe they win me something. Yeah.
It's cool in NBA right now, as big as it is, you can win legitimate cards with the commons.
Mm-hmm.
So 1,000 limited. So to your point, we don't want to like, it is ridiculous to get like a, what were you, man and somebody else, where somebody else gets Jokic and other like,
It was weird. It was weird. I just want to know. I just want to know what we're actually getting. I want to know what we're actually getting in MLB. I know we're still kind of waiting on exactly.
We didn't get him on the show for reasons that make sense now. I think that obviously, that's a huge component of the MLB community that now is a void. So I wouldn't expect news for some time while they get on their feet about all that stuff.
Yeah.
Anyhow, let's talk about basketball.
Let's do it.
NBA. Since we last did the grind, we've had, I think, 3-4 slates. Limited slates. Obviously, I think, what is that? One extra common slate on top of it. So, how's your experience been so far? What are your initial takeaways?
I am still surprised at how much fun I'm having with it. From, where I was initially, where I was like, I don't even think I'm going to play, to, the cap changes everything. And it's fun, and I always liked playing NBA DFS, but I couldn't do every day of the, what's the lineup and, like, the late swap. And I like having to guess and then just 4 days of just watching basketball. And if a guy gets benched, and it's my fault, but there's not much I can do about it. And also, like, the flipping aspect was cool early. I'm kind of set with my guys currently, though. I have, 6 playable guys and 2 unplayable Tier 4 rewards that are injured. And so I'm just rolling with my guys, and one of them is Cam Johnson, and I'm in line for a tier 2 limited this week. So
he absolutely went off. So that's a really amazing segue. So Laird is my other way too early in the morning friend. I think he knows I'm the only other psycho sort of player up at in the 6 a.m. range. You saw his lineup, right?
Mm-hmm. I meant to check it this morning, actually.
Or a previous start, we should say, with George, who dropped, I think, 80. KD, who had a stealing game in the 60s.
Yep.
And he had Steph, who I think Steph kind of showed off that his ceiling isn't as. I think Steph showed off why he's a tier down from the Giannis and Jokic whenever he gets right. Luka through, because he drops a triple-double, which has been a huge score, and he only, air quotes, only does 61. But, that was a crazy start for Larry, but then he had, Dean Wade and Trey Murphy.
Right.
Had upside. Dean Wade, I think, showed, Dean Wade didn't start, but I think even if Dean Wade started, it was limited upside. I think if you got 30, you feel like you ceiling with him.
Yeah.
And so I was chatting with him this morning. I'm curious to get your opinion. I think my takeaway now after a multiple champion weeks of common and now the first limited champion slate opened up, that correct build is something obviously a superstar and MVP. Another one of these stars, but that maybe isn't in that 50 range.
Right. So, there's some guys hovering around 43.
I had Harden, I want to say it was 42.
Mm-hmm.
And we knew no Embiid.
Yeah.
Right. So we actually knew Harden was fair to potentially expect mid-50s and 60s from Harden with no Embiid. But then the 3 other guys being 25.
Yeah.
Cam Johnson, which I never thought Cam Johnson had 60 ceiling. But you go, is that the craziest thing that's ever happened? Or here's a better way to say it. What was more likely going to be? Cam Johnson dropped 60 or Dean Wade dropped 60?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, and that's actually when I run projections and kind of look at, projected scores divided by L10s, most of the guys who have super high ceilings relative to their L10 are in that range. If you watch my 5 to buy, everyone I talked about was between 25 and 19. So, like, you could find those guys. They're definitely there. Max Strus was my guy this week, and his first game of the week was awesome, and then the second one, not so much. And that's kind of what you get out of those guys. That's fine. Gordon Hayward,
Yep.
Bol, who's...
I do think another thing me and you talked about when we were running your ceiling projections and you were having me make adjustments, and who was it that was like way too high on it?
It was Bol and Mitchell Robinson.
And I said, I see it, but the question always to me is those types of minutes.
Right.
Never can get those true, but Bol's starting to play it.
Yes, he is. He has. And so one thing I'm noticing with the upside, with that sort of thing, I think you just want volume guys with high block and steal percentage. I think the defensive stats are what really make a difference. Like, that's what made a difference for Giannis last night in his 72.
Yeah,
like, it was
like the five. He had like
5 steals, 2 blocks. Yeah,
something like that, because that's 14 points.
Yeah. Well, it's 21. It's three apiece.
For each. Done. Yeah, it's the FanDuel.
Yeah. So, yeah, right. So yeah, I think yes, exactly. And surprisingly, Durant, he's on the higher end of the block percentage leaderboard, and I think that's why, like, he's projecting. For me, in those upside rankings you talked about, he's projecting way higher right now than some of those, like low tier one, like definitely superstars in the eyes of the NBA fan, but not necessarily in the eyes of Sorare scoring. It's those guys who find a way towards the top of usage and either block and steal percentage. So that's been some of those guys, and like Shea's up there in steal percentage too.
Yeah, I think that like Harden, without Embiid is kind of a outlier in that group, because we just know he just decides to get that absurd usage too. Like, Steph's never going to command that much usage with Wiggins, with Clay, with it's funny to say with Draymond, but I don't think people realize like Draymond actually has the ball a lot. He plays like a point forward role in the half court.
Right.
So, and Steph's running off screen. So, yeah, it's just so it sounds like you're in agreement with me about the builds, that it is a lot of those 20 guys. Like, for me, I thought I ended up doing it this week. Hate the player so much, but I know the upside is there because of steals too. But I was big on Kel Oubre with no Rozier, and I looked at the games, and they had Sacramento at home, which had a potential to attract me. I think at that point it was like a 230 total. And then it was Chicago away. Okay. Like, those were two pretty good matchups. I'm going all over the place.
That's fine.
I think the other takeaway I had, this is my first time with it. As we went back and forth our little fun video to video, I think Contender has flaws in terms of like the bottlenecking and like the reliance on, Keegan Murray when he was here, Bol when he was 4. You probably, sorry, the kid is, it must be a happy part of the game. But what's your experience of playing Common Champion versus Limited Contender? Which one are you enjoying more?
So I'm enjoying Contender much more because I don't have the big guns to roll in Limited yet, just because I think I mentioned it before. All of my Ethereum was kind of tied up in baseball, so I'm just kind of starting really slow in NBA and just kind of learning it. No, right, yeah. No, I'm not about to do that. I did list a couple of guys who were still going for over what I bought them for, but that's a different story. But my commons initially, my best player was Durant, and I think we kind of looked at it early, and I was like, this isn't an MVP that's going to win me anything, especially with, like 300,000 people getting one of the big 3 in their common. So I just kind of prioritized Contender, and then I won a LeBron, and of all tier 1s to win, he's not exactly the guy you want right now. But I don't think he's topped 50. He's like very consistently in the 50 range and then not much more. So I did run a Durant LeBron champion lineup this week in common, and LeBron held me down. Durant had the better game, which I expected, but LeBron was my MVP because of his L10, and the rest of the team did well. Brook Lopez is dominating relative to his L10. Yeah. D'Anthony Melton was the only one who didn't. I mean, he had a 25, which was fine, but he had like a 40 last week. But that's just kind of a thing that's going to happen with him. So yeah. Anyway, this was the first week that I actually prioritized champion in common, and it's about what I expected. It's you got to really get close to the nuts if you want to really try and win in champion. So contender, it's so much tighter.
Well, but do you, since I'm not playing it, I want to make sure I'm not making hasty generalizations here. But am I correct that like the bottleneck on like that low L10 guy? And I'm sorry for listening to the kids. It is what it is. But oh my goodness, I can't even focus. But is it a bottleneck? I guess that's before I do. Is it like a bottleneck? Like, do you have to have? I don't even want to go full cheat. The Keegan Murray was a cheat. The other
right
is proper scouting. Like, are you saying do you have to? Because I've seen other people try to attack it with like, I don't know, really balanced build.
Yeah.
Like, and I just don't feel like those are as often.
Let me check. Let me see what the upper part looks like. Because I feel like my team is pretty balanced. I'm running a George Hill consistently right now, and I don't think he's going to be worth it. Next week. I bet his L10's actually double digits as opposed to like 8, but he's getting like 17 to 22 minutes a night, and he's not a big points per minute guy, but he's just out there.
First place up.
Yes.
I'm assuming if I remember, Najee was sort of a cheat. Najee Marshall.
Yeah, he was single digits.
And it was quote unquote it was known because Zion I think was still out or very questionable to start out the week.
And then Ingram was yeah.
But like the winning lineup right now, which is ahead by 9, I think it's pretty. It's down to say it will win, but Clarkson, Arbor, DSJ, who I know was insanely popular, got that huge price bump because of no Rozier, which was known before the game.
Yep.
Cam Johnson, which at that point you had to have. Najee Marshall, who 30 for low L10, and then Nick Claxton, who's kind of been an early season, for lack of a better term, cheat, where his role has far surpassed his L10. I mean, that one makes sense to me, but it does have that what I've kind of called bottleneck on that value. Like you would have to have that.
Yeah, you talking about Najee, or are you talking about Dennis Smith?
Previously, this one, second place is a good one that doesn't have Najee, but Hayward.
Oh, look at 6th.
Oh, Mega, my boy.
Yeah.
But so who is he? He has Marcus Morris, Brook Lopez, Cam Johnson. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of similar names.
Yeah, these are all guys. So Mega and I talked. He said he had Morris, but I know Hayward was one of the guys I recommended it, and he asked about DeSunmu. So yeah, that's our guy. That's cool.
Yeah, no, that's a really great start. So I guess the answer becomes it's not really about, but it is. So all right, full circle. You can't do the balance. You just got to balance. You have to balance with the upside.
Yeah, you gotta.
Mega's a great example. That is a great lineup in terms of like every single one of these guys. I agree completely has upside. He's within the cap. For Lopez, we already talked about it. Huge upside. Gordon Hayward definitely was. I was on him. Like he's in my champion lineup because I think he was a 22 L10. Again, usage bump with no Rozier. Makes sense. Marcus Morris. I was between Marcus Morris and Hayward. Marcus Morris, huge bump because it was without Covington. There was no Kawhi. And I think there was somebody else missing, but he was all over my radar too. And he was back-to-back with the Rockets.
Right.
That made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Don Sumo, who's the only guy I think that was a little bit questionable. One big game. Probably the guy that I'm on there, especially with everybody back. If Levine was coming back, so I wanted to know what that looked like.
Yeah. Levine sat the second one, though. Yeah.
No, Levine played last night.
Oh, he did? I thought he was supposed to sit.
I mean, he was. He was ruled the day before, and then an hour before the game, he decided to play. Welcome to NBA.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, so...
He was out, and then he wasn't.
Yeah. How about that? That's funny. So all those guys I see at the top are either big usage guys or guys who make a difference on the defensive end. Like Claxton is, again, in the top 10 of block percentage, and then without Ben Simmons, he gets a huge boost in minutes. Marshall was the one kind of cheat code. Johnson does them both. Johnson, he had 3 steals.
Makes a lot of sense. Johnson is always going to be a popular. Until this 58 hits spell 10, he's always going to be a popular player in that mid-tier.
Yeah, I'm going to need reinforcements now because I know he's going to end up being too much in a week.
Got to sell him. This is exactly what we talked about, though, when these guys, are about to hit a bad stretch where their L10 pushes where they're not as valuable. It's like when you sell them.
I don't know that he got a bump last time. Okay, all right, now he's bumping. All right, yeah, we're selling him.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that's going to be really important. And sorry that this is kind of all over the place. I mean, we'll get a better cadence on how we want to talk about the NBA, but I hope at least for the listeners that it's useful. But I think that it is super important on that type of thing. When a low 20s guy goes off and that L10 is about to bump into the 30s, because we're never going to project the guy for 30. We're never going to project Cam Johnson consistently in the 30s.
Right.
So if he's running 31 L10, you can't play him. He's like a negative expected outcome for your lineup.
Yeah. Even at this 24 that he is coming up, 26, 19, 31, 37, and then the 55. But even at 37 being the peak, 13 surplus points isn't crazy. So yeah, Cam's on the market. If you want him for If you want him for .0255, he can be had.
You know what's fun? Not fun. I'm gonna get told no, that's not fun. You're paying more attention, taking advantage. But Hayward was really bad this week, Gordon Hayward.
Yeah,
and
it
then
was.
He tweaked something last night, and being an NBA person like myself, when Gordon Hayward tweaks something, Gordon Hayward tweaks are wrong.
Dude, I was there. I was in attendance.
Oh,
for the bad one.
Oh God, talk about the worst start to a signing ever. What didn't even last a minute?
Yeah, it was 2 minutes into the game. It was game 1 of the season.
I mean, Alex just my basketball geekdom. I still to this day have had moments where I've zoned out and thought, what if he hit that shot versus Duke?
I know. I knew as soon as you started.
Would that have been the greatest college
play? Yeah.
It beats Leitner, right?
I think so. Yeah, it was half court, and it was Butler.
It was Butler winning the title over Duke.
And it rimmed out.
Exactly where I was standing in my girlfriend's living room, and now my wife, watching that game, with her family. And I remember it going in, standing up, oh my God. Can you just imagine?
And then, of course, the Villanova shot against Carolina had to go in.
I mean, we just got layered to the video, so that was good.
Yeah, pandering.
Just that shot is amazing. So anyhow, though, but I think it really is important to know players like Hayward that are really fragile.
Yeah.
And their ankle tweaks or whatever it was for him will last weeks. Whereas, James Harden. I messaged you last night. I had James Harden price alerts. He goes to the locker room. All of a sudden, my phone, I get like 7 price alerts or 5 price alerts right away, and it's like undercutting, and it's like in my head, I'm like, dude, James Harden doesn't miss games. Like James Harden, he doesn't unless he decides he wants to.
Yeah, unless he's out in Atlanta.
Right. It's one of the club games. But like, I think it's really important to know the durability of guys. Like Anthony Davis gets hurt, but Hayward to me isn't. So anyhow, I just purposely when that happens, like I don't want to use him left. Anyways, I'm holding this, and you just undercut the market a little bit stronger. So I think at that point, I paid like 0.026. I think the low in the market was 0.027, and I'm like 0.023. 2 minutes later, out. And it's just like for the extra $3 of loss, I'm out of that conversation. I'll do that all day.
Sure. Yep. I hear you. I expected to be flipping more, and I expected to be buying and selling a little more, but
it's just
it
takes time. But it still is an amazing opportunity. Like, let me ask you another question, because this is I want to chat with a few people about, and I think I know my answer, but I'm not 100% sure I'm like stuck with it where I want to make content and tell everybody do this. What's your opinion on when you should be buying cards for the game week?
I mean, definitely not right beforehand. Ideally, you're buying a week or so out, and we do have projected L10s now in our All-Star package at the Patreon. So if you do want to try and buy that far out, hopefully this will help. But God, I want to say like as soon as the game week opens, like as soon as they're L10, but I don't really know. I don't have a strong feeling either way on when.
So
it's kind of, for me, it's like when I can.
Yeah, can I go hot take on you?
Go for it.
For pure price, yes. I think that's the answer. As soon as we see the updated L10s, as soon as you kind of get your build together. But where I'm falling in it is I'm okay paying a premium, 10 to 15% premium on lock day, which is a great flipping opportunity. I'm exactly the person that somebody flipping wants to be out there with this take. But because the volatility of injuries, of resting, of all that, making sure that you don't over budget and a better play pops up.
Right.
Like just before the game or just before loss, all of a sudden a better play opens up to somebody going out. Yeah. And then what we ended up seeing with, I can't even remember his name, but the Spurs guy. Shouted out to
Blake Wesley.
Oh my God! Like, talk about a tilt. So we got a lot of our subscribers on it. A lot of people hate my guts right now. But he ended up he would have been a cheat because the Spurs ended up ruling out a ton of guys. Wesley's talented, Notre Dame kid. All of a sudden, when Josh Freeman got kicked out, was running back up point. Was going to probably see 25 minutes. Spurs Twitter was all about him. I'm like, all right, I found it. He's a 0 L10. We're early on him. He goes in that night. I think he's played 7 minutes in that game, and I think he had 6 or 7 points, 2 or 3 rebounds, an assist. It's like, I'm literally sitting here, I'm like, I'm just going to call every basket. I'm riding hot on this. Blake Wesley, Hall of Fame. SorareFB is going to be our new cover. And what does he do? Freaking tears his knee. So I say all that just being because that's just like the reality of the NBA.
Yeah.
Of these just injuries happen so much more than football, in my opinion.
Yeah. Right. I think I
almost wonder if the answer is like Thursday, like sort of for the Friday lock, Thursday night, as once your game of that play
yes, right,
is done.
Right. Because then if
Thursday night, if he doesn't play Thursday, once his game is done.
Right. Once he has no more games in the current game week, and you know any injury that might have happened during a game,
Exactly.
like I wouldn't want to buy a Nuggets player until tomorrow because they play tonight. Yeah.
And so I know that he made it through.
Yeah.
Better answers. I don't want to buy, and not that would be, but I want to buy Michael Porter Jr.
Right. Right. Exactly. Yeah, I think you're right.
Jr. could break at any moment. So I think that's where I fall in line with that answer is I don't know if I would rather miss the absolute bottom.
Yeah.
To just not get a pop of that.
That makes sense.
If I'm paying 5 to 10% more than I am, but I did so to provide myself some safety.
Right.
And especially unlimited. I mean, with 5 to 10%, we're talking, USD terms, $6 to $10.
Right. Yeah, it's not a big difference at that level. I think if you're, yeah, right. If you're buying a whole team, like maybe you can buy it a little further out, but I don't think anyone's really doing that at this point.
I think what people are doing and what I've done is if you're playing champion, your Jokic, your Giannis, your Luka types are going to be a little bit resistant. Obviously they won't be resistant if one of them tears an ACL or tears an Achilles, then you're going to see that's in the tank. But even like a small injury, you're not going to twist that. But like Wesley was such a horrible little room because his value truly was 1 week while he was at 0. Because the moment he became a 15 L10, he's useless.
Yep. And I got stuck with him. Yep.
So do you know what I ended up doing, Alex?
You powelled him, didn't you?
I powelled. I had a rare and limited, and I powelled. And all of a sudden I went and I looked, and I was like, oh my God, wow, you actually have somebody that everybody's going to want this coming game with an Kelly Oubre rare. Kept firing. Well, what's going to take? Because the cool thing with like those gallery sellers is they're going to always look at the recent sale. And it was like on the rare for him, a rare had just ended for like 0.06, 0.07.
Yeah.
I have like a 30-minute window to utilize this until the market just starts undercutting the crap out of it. And I think at that point, it hadn't come out that his knee has been torn up yet.
Yeah. Yeah, you got out early enough. Whereas I didn't win the auction until the next morning.
Well, I got out after you won it, but I mean, it's hard. I mean, it's still going to be like he's still a first round pick. I mean, long term, still
he'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was that rare I paid like 0.07 for. I'm just like, oh, that one stinks. You have to off. Yeah. So I think I don't know. I'm enjoying myself. With it. You got any other like picks or anybody that's kind of on your radar for people that are listening to this fast enough?
Yes. Let me
give it to you, and then we'll get out of here.
Ooh, who we got here? Still,
can I get my
numbers?
Can I get my 0 pick?
Yeah, go for it. Your cursed 0.
I wonder if we're going to keep always having like 1 or 2 potential cheats. But I think it's just interesting. I don't have the minutes by me, so I apologize. But Dario Saric came back.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I bought a limited. PSA, I bought one. I'm not trying to like pump it. I don't know if I'm using it or not yet, or if I'm going to sell it. But I just bought one just in case. But came back. Dario Saric, for those who don't know, former top 10 pick. Had some really big upside in the past, but tore up his knee last year. First game back during Cam Johnson's big one. I think he only played like 8 or 10 minutes. But I know he hit a 3. I was watching him hit a 3. If he got like 12 to 15 minutes, he could easily do 10 to 15 server points. As 0, you don't want to use that in champion, but as a contender, if you want to jam in. Oh, I wanted to tell you this lineup I just ran into Alex for contender. Thought this was crazy. Second place. Yeah, we'll do your action in a minute. Not second, third. Paul George. Guy jammed Paul George. Good for him. Jalen Williams, who's a talented guy for the Thunder, only got 10. Shaden Sharp got 14. Scotty Barnes, 48. Cam Johnson, 58. Thought that was a wild.
Where was that at?
Third place.
But
Contender.
Third place.
Yeah.
That's not the build I would want to.
Works though. That's one cool thing is look at that leaderboard. There's a ton of variety. So I'm trying to be a contender.
It's
variety.
2 mega values, like 2 mega ceilings out of Cam and George. Yeah. So
George and Barnes were his spin ups. But good spin ups. I could see them both.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, players out.
Bulbul's still popping at least for one more week.
What's his
19.
Okay, that's great.
We got him projected for an upside of 50.
Dude, well, he's playing 30 minutes with Magic now.
Yep.
The Magic are just going full out, like, freak lineups, and I love every minute of it. Like, Magic are like, oh, everybody wants to get small? Check out our 7'3" small player.
Yeah, it's like kind of what the Cavs did last year, and then ended up trading Markkanen to get super small. But, I found it interesting that people kind of saw that could still work and have.
Here's our 6'9" point guard.
Yep. Yes. Brook Lopez, we still like a lot, even at the 30 L10, but the shelf life.
That's the thing. Brooks can get you 3-pointers, some scoring, some boards, and Brook can get 6-7 blocks. So.
Yep. Yeah, he's still outperforming his L10 quite a bit, but that window's starting to close a little.
Yeah,
so
it's going to close really fast, but you might have another week on them.
Yeah, let me. Those are
amazing shots.
Those are weak.
So I'm just like reacting as you're saying it, and I'm like, yup, and yup. Should be all over.
For next week, I think Spencer Dinwiddie is a pretty small sample size, and at 27, I don't want to. Yeah, I don't know that I want to recommend him though.
Well, I mean, here's the thing though. He gets big bench usage too when Luka's out. Right. I don't mind that at all.
Really low price, Mason Plumlee.
Ooh, the Plum Dog.
Yeah, I don't like.
Little known fact, Alex. I don't know if you've actually ever known. My DraftKings avatar for a year and a half. Have you ever seen Plum Dog Millionaire?
Yes. I think. Yes. Yes,
so
I have.
He had the little fake $1 shooter. That was nice. I love me some Plum Dog.
Hey, I'm not a fan, but it's that UNC thing.
That guy for DFS though. So he was a DFS legend for so long because they refused to price him up, and I think it was when he was in Portland and Denver. He would just flash like potential triple-double games. But I liked it. Getting some good minutes for Charlotte.
Another mega value, Doug McDermott is getting some run for those horrible, horrible Spurs.
Who are horribly injured now too.
Yeah. Harrison Barnes, DeAnthony Melton. We got a lot of
Harrison Barnes.
pops. Okay. See, this is why I need you around.
Well, this is why the DFS guy that's just hooked to his phone NBA game just broke off. Let me just make one more, and then we'll head out. I think it was amazing shots. Just on the Spurs, just one more look at. And again, you should know before game lock. But Canada-based Diop, I'm not going to say it right. Former Ohio State fan of her call?
Yes.
You might know better than me? Okay. 2 or 3 straight starts. Keldon Johnson missed last night. Josh Primo, no comment. But he's no longer there. You've got who else missed? You got multiple people missing. Spurs were missing.
Like Wesley?
Jock Lindell, or not Jock Lindell. What's the new guy with his hair? The 10th pick in the draft. I'm blanking.
Jacopo. Oh, not. You said new.
The rookie. I can't.
Yeah, with the red hair.
With the red hair. But anyhow, he stayed in the locker room at halftime.
Oh.
So the Spurs are really beat up. So that could be a really good source of value. Really good shot on Friday that you know what's going on with it. So that could be a really good place to steal some value. Just know, though, that it's pop. I think they played like 12 guys. I didn't even know they had 12 guys dressed last night. And they played like all of them.
And they lost 143 to 100.
I mean, those are the great ones where your guys at the end of the bench, though.
Mm-hmm.
You might have had like 2s on.
Yeah, there were some big scores from guys you wouldn't expect it in that game.
So that's a good look. I mean, again, the problem when you have a team that's not competitive is your guys like a Trey Jones. Devin Vassell's still out. I don't know when he's supposed to be back, but like your guys like a Trey Jones or Jakob Fertl, those are the guys that get killed during a blowout. You know, your Tatum Bates, your other guys, a little more insulated from that.
Yeah. Bates played 25, so
I love the McBucket show.
yeah, I dig it. I might buy him right now.
Get it done. Get Cam out. Dougie in. Maybe a little plum dog. Anyhow,
I don't think I'm going plum dog.
We'll end on the plum dog though. Just last little, just like plug Alex. He's not going to brag about this, so I'm going to brag for him. Just absolutely every single night he's messing with projections and trying to do everything we can to get as spot on as we can. With, you know, one of the things I think is really cool is there's projections about anywhere out there. Okay, you can find so many, but Alex, with his background as, you know, not only a data guy, but, you know, working as a beat reporter, knowing what's important, is really doing his own custom projections on these, where he's weighting certain things, and I think it's already shown a big edge. So big shout out to you, Alex, on that. So I say all that to say, if you're interested, join the community, getting those projections. You know, we do. I always try to normally 3 o'clock. I normally shout out and say, hey, for 2 hours here, tag me, I'll review something live. Trying to get some value out there. So make sure to check out SorareFB, link in the bio. Anything I missed on that?
No. We're seeing a lot of success, especially in Contender, among our patrons right now, which is just cool and validating. I don't need to go into it. Everyone seems to be at least getting a card. So just working on those upside projections and trying to, you know, win the good cards, get our guys way up there.
I do think us trying to get those upsides really, really nice and down is huge. Because again, like that, you know, finding your Cam Johnsons, finding your, you know, Brooke Lopez's that go off in the week and, you know, outperform their L10s by 20-30 is going to be the game. That's how you're going to get put in.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, Alex, keep up the great work. Everybody, thank you again for watching. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, comment. All really helps us keep growing. That will say, see you.